All right, let's get into it. Lance Armstrong, 30 for 30, part 2, final chapter. What'd you think?
I was highly entertained. I thought it was great. I had some
Yeah.
issues with the kind of cliffhanger ending, but the story's not over yet,
Yeah.
so I completely get it. I didn't know that he and Floyd Landis. Well, I guess it's kind of one way, really, when you think about it. I didn't know he hated Floyd
Mhm.
Landis that much. I knew he disliked him, but I didn't know it was that visceral. And I still side with Betsy, and I pretty much will until she says everything's fine.
Look, I think at the end of the day, he still looks at him as the guy who, who peed in the punch bowl, right? Who just kind of blew it all up and kind of set this thing in motion where now guys were, I guess, felt inclined to share that they performance enhanced, and he was the catalyst. I don't know. I texted you. I'm Team Lance. I look at it as this was the sport. This was part of it. This was just like everyday training. Um, and yeah, I don't know. There's something about Floyd Landis that I've never liked. I didn't like before all of this stuff blew up. That maybe it was his personality. Maybe you could tell he was always. He talked about being uncomfortable, being a liar or fibbing or whatever it was. Um, yeah, I look. I think I do think he ruined it for everybody. I think he messed with things, and I think he was bitter that he got cut out. And they talked about the whole mafia analogy, and he's like, well, I still should have gotten taken care of, right? Well, we're only getting really one side of that conversation, that mafia story. Did he come in demanding that he wanted certain things, and I did this for you guys and you're not giving me shit? And then they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Or I don't know. I wasn't in, we weren't in that conversation. It probably spilled over from other stuff too, because it kind of seemed like Floyd Landis wanted more. He wanted to kind of be the guy, and maybe he did what Lance did to a lot of other people when he was coming in. It's like, this is my game. I'm the future. And obviously Lance is like, he's the past, present, and future, especially during that time. But I was thoroughly entertained as well. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I mean, my only other comment on it, aside from being thoroughly entertained, is I didn't know about Ulrich. I knew that they were competitors. I had no idea they were friends. And
Yeah.
then what happened to him afterwards, I did not know, and I was shocked to learn that. So I felt
Yeah.
bad for him.
Yeah. I remember all those tumultuous times. And yeah, I thought they were like hardcore rivals, and just like everybody else, Lance didn't care for him. But apparently he was like the one guy who he had a soft spot for.
Yeah, the
And
one guy.
the one guy. And then I had to be reminded that Lance placed third, right? I totally forgot about that. You look at his complete dominance and then you forget. Um, yeah, it like I said, it was really good. I think for anybody, if you're familiar with the situation, like you said, you are, and hearing some new things. And for the layperson who didn't know any of this stuff, you just kind of looked at Lance and you're like, he won, he cheated, and that's it. You get a little bit more context, and the tapestry is really rich when you look at everything involved. There was the appearance of Greg LeMond and him talking. I think that when Lance talked about everybody cheated, past, present, future, right, in some way, and how dare they say anything, and these people are invited to do this, they're treated like heroes, yet there's these other guys that are treated like villains. We're all villains. You just know of their shortcomings and you don't know about theirs. And I'm sure Greg LeMond, I'm not accusing him of anything, but he'll go to the grave with his, maybe, or maybe he'll come out later and go, gotcha. I
I
don't
don't think
know.
I don't
I
think
don't
Omar
think that'll
will win.
happen. I don't think he's going to tarnish his legacy.
Although, who was it that said, in order to do the Tour de France, you've got to be on something?
That was early. That was early on. That was basically the first episode. But
Oh, it was.
yeah, there were a couple people that said that.
Yeah, I want to say it was like
And
Horner. I know Horner was the guy that was giving the interview on circuit. So I think I want to, and forgive me, I'm sorry. Was it Vandevelde? Was it Hamilton?
yes,
Yeah,
Vanderbilt.
that's right. I mean, that's 21 days of hell. I mean, those guys beat the crap out of themselves.
Yeah.
I wish, the only thing I do wish is I wish they would have aired it closer to the actual Tour de France happening, because I think they would have drummed up interest in it. Now, it doesn't air on the Disney family of networks, so it's probably why they didn't. But, I was like, oh, I really want to watch the tour now. And it's like, it's in August because, COVID, stupid 19 delayed it.
Yeah. It was super entertaining. It painted a great picture of the sport and kind of peeled it back a little bit without going too in depth and too cycling nerdy. But yeah, I don't see how you can't come out of this not liking Lance Armstrong, right? I think you or you're empathetic to his case.
Oh, yeah, but at the same time, if you are very, very you cheated, you destroyed it, people are going to hate that. But
So are you arguing that he destroyed the sport?
I think that for a few years after all that happened, the interest, both because he was gone and because of what came out, dropped significantly from an American standpoint. The world over, it's still, it's not the World Cup, but it's still semi-popular. I would be interested to know what the viewership numbers were between like his last ride when he came in third to when he came out and said I did steroids, and then like the few years after that. I'd like to know what all those numbers were, because it'd be interesting to be like, okay, they were holding steady. He comes out and says it. There's either a drop or a spike, obviously, the next year, because people are interested in seeing what they're going to say. Yeah. And then did it taper off? Did it go down? What happened?
I would suspect that the ratings were solid throughout. Every time he was on his bike, people wanted to watch. Look, he was one of the biggest stars in sports. It wasn't just cycling, right? Yeah. And they showed that clip of the Daily Show where there's like, all right, nobody gives a shit about cycling. It's like, oh, Lance Armstrong's back, now it's time to give a shit, or whatever, however they kind of framed it. But right. It's true. I mean, it's a fringe sport, and it takes a star, but it also takes a special kind of guy, and Lance Armstrong had all of that, right? He was Mr. Hollywood. He was out there hobnobbing. He had this awesome foundation that, arguably is just as important to his career as cycling itself. And so, and everybody wanted to be a part of it. And then Nike had their full power of marketing behind him. So similar to, an Air Jordan, Lance Armstrong had his thing. So there was a lot of good things happening around him that helped him, and maybe not necessarily the sport and its longevity.
Yeah, I was just looking up. You were making me wonder, because I know there's a tour of California that started in 2006, and I'm pretty sure that was in the middle of Lance winning all those races, which he's now been stripped of, but whatever. Yeah, no, he won. He didn't win by, him being stripped, but yeah, he won in 05, and I'm pretty sure he won in 06.
You can't take those records with you. I mean, they're not going to get buried with those trophies and those plates and all of that stuff. So,
Floyd Landis won in 2006.
I mean, look, he had the experience. He won. Take it away from him now. It's one of those.
It's like taking it's taking the championship away from USC. It's the same idea.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't mind if they take the title away from him. If not everybody was doing it, but if the majority of people were doing it, give him his stage wins back. Give him something.
Oh no, they don't care. I mean, they went nuclear on him, deservingly so, because they gave him the opportunity to walk away, right?
Yeah.
They kind of gave him all the warnings. Just go away and we'll leave you alone. You come back, the
You're
full
screwed.
force of the media is coming
Yeah.
after you, and USADA and all of those groups, they're coming after you if you come back. And public
Yep.
safety alert.
Yeah, that's our curfew alert right there.
Yep, go home. The world is burning.
Yeah, I mean, the looters are out.
Exactly.
We can get into
Look,
that too.
yeah, I mean, so like I said, I think it was a really interesting few hours of watch, and I can't wait for the next one.
Oh, I'm so excited for Be-Water. Are you kidding? Bruce Lee.
Mean, Bruce Lee.
Come on.
Yeah, and it's 30 for 30, so I'm sure
so
it's going to be a good combo. So we'll talk about that. And
I want to see a recut of The Last Dance done by the 30 for 30 crew, whatever.
I don't want to. No, I'm done with The Last Dance.
No, I would like to see like a 30 for 30 cut of it, not a Netflix whatever cut. Like I'd like to see that team have a chance to actually edit it. I just want to see what they would do.
I don't want to waste my time with it anymore. I'm so done. I'm so done with it. I don't want to relive. I get it. Michael Jordan's the best ever, and Scottie Pippen sucks.
No, Scottie Pippen doesn't suck. Stop that.
No, I mean, well, they ended it with him being an ass, but
one bad moment in his entire NBA career, and he'll never live it down. Come on, how many bad moments have we all had in our lives?
You just can't sit on the bench at the very end. You just can't. You just can't.
Bad moment.
Can't. That one is really hard to forgive. But anyway, that's Lance. So let's move on.